then lift the mind out from material consciousness and put it in spiritual consciousness. Same mind, just using it a different way. Right? There's a microphone. I could be yelling swear words into it. It could be a different consciousness. But I'm not. I'm trying to call out to Krishna. So therefore, this microphone is now spiritual. Does that make sense? So in the Bhakti Yoga philosophy, we can make everything, most everything, spiritual. And then when we go to the spiritual world, it's not a huge change. We're serving the Lord. And when we get to the spiritual world, I don't want to ruin this price, but we'll be serving the Lord. So we do a little more.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let's sing together.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Nathan for adding something extra today with the bass guitar. And thanks to all of you for coming out to Sunday night in Spanish Fork, Utah. Everything is inspired by the teachings of Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder of Caru International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Om Agyanata Nandasyan, Ganamana Sadakaya, Chaksudurmigam, Yanatasmaya Srigurveda Maha, Sri Chaitanya Nandisam, Stapita Bhutane, Sahara Bhaktivinoda, Dadati Swapanantikam. I'd like to talk to you today, or ask you the question today, what is it that might just be blocking your growth? I read about a preacher and his wife. They were walking through a botanical gardens full of these huge cactus plants. They stood over 30 feet tall. Can you imagine? All kinds of incredible shapes. Preacher and his wife were amazed at how beautiful and how big they were. They continued walking through the park and enjoying all the sights, and they came to this other area where there was another group of cacti. They looked to be the same type as the large cacti, but they were only the height of an average man. So the pastor went over to them. He looked closer, trying to figure out why it was they were so much shorter. He said to his wife, oh, sorry, that's not a very good resolution picture there, is it? They must be a different kind. She looked up, said, no, it's that tree. She was pointing to a large oak tree whose branches were keeping the sun from hitting those cactuses. They were always in the shade. Now what's interesting is the small stunted cactuses have the same potential as the cactuses or cacti that were 30 feet high. They're in the same soil, same climate, same weather conditions. The only difference is that something was blocking their growth. Because they're constantly in the shade, they grow only a fraction of the height and the size that they're meant to grow. So I wonder if in our lives, if there are things that are blocking our growth, that if we get out from underneath the shade, whether we wouldn't really begin to blossom, to go to new levels. There's nothing wrong with us. After all, Sarva Shachaham Ridi Shanivishto, we have the supreme creator of millions and millions of universes seated within the region of our heart, and he created us not to be average or mediocre, but to rise higher, to be successful, to be confident, after his own image. The problem is that when you're living guilty, you're in agreement with the enemy, Maya. Maya's job is to keep you rotating this material world. She's the goddess of illusion. She's called the accuser. And what she'll do is she'll remind you of every mistake you've ever made for the last 20 years. I saw a joke on the internet last week. It asked the question, why are most archaeologists women? The answer is because they're really good at digging up the past. So Maya would love for you to go through life feeling wrong about yourself. What she's trying to do in that is to stunt your growth. She'll do her very best to keep you in the shade. And Maya knows your potential. She knows you're created to soar, and that's why she works overtime trying to make us feel guilty, whispering, you don't measure up. You failed again. You blew your diet. You didn't spend enough time with your children growing up. There's always a reason to be down on ourselves. You have to put your foot down, draw a line in the sand, and say, no thanks. I'm not living under that shade. I know I'm forgiven, I'm resilient, my past is over, my present is secure, and my future is bright. A young boy lived in a village in Malawi, a small African community with his family. Like most houses in the area, they had no electricity. But this boy, William Kambwamba, he didn't see why his village should have to live under such a cloud. The rest of the world has electricity. He thought my village should also have it too. So he went to the small library and he looked up books called Using Energy and decided to see what he could do with the scrap materials that are lying around here and there in his village. And he carefully studied the plans in the book, gathered whatever materials he could find. So using only this book and his own invention, he crafted a window and created a system to power 4 lights and 2 radios in his family home. Scripture says God or Krishna's calling on your life is irrevocable. Krishna doesn't change his mind. He doesn't cancel your destiny because you're born in a disadvantaged area or because you made some bad choices or because of your family background. People may have written you off. People may have pushed you down and disqualified you. But can I tell you, people don't determine your destiny. Krishna or God does, and he never, ever, ever disqualifies you. But you have to do your part and tune out all the negative words that were spoken over you. Maybe some of them even from people that you love, people that should have been encouraging you, should have been showing you mercy, lifting you up when you fell. But it was just the opposite, unfortunately. They tried to make you feel more guilty, tell you how you didn't measure up. Can I ask you not to stay under that shade? Krishna or God still has a purpose for you to fulfill. You wouldn't have got up this morning if he didn't have something awesome out in front of you. Get your passion back. Start believing again, hoping again, dreaming again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A local newspaper covered William's invention. The story was picked up by blogs and other internet sites. Soon, William had his fellowship at the local TED Global Conference. He gave his TED Talk to an auditorium full of people and gained overwhelming interest and support from those attendees. Many offered to help William's family, and the compound where they live has plenty of lights, a well for clean water, and many improvements today. William himself has been granted his personal wish. He's going to school sponsored by some of the people who heard him speak. Someday, he'll be able to go to many other villages and help them improve their surroundings. Now, by having had the courage to take his dreams from the pages of a book and make them real, William not only made his own family's lives better, but he put himself in a position to help whole other villages improve their standard of living. So let's ask ourselves, is there something blocking our growth? Something keeping you from standing up tall? Is it a lack of self-esteem, guilt, shame, fear, doubt? You have to come out from underneath that shade. It's not going to leave on its own. You have to make your move. When you start moving forward, knowing that God or Krishna's mercy is greater than your mistakes, then you're going to blossom. New doors are going to open. Talent will come out that you didn't even know you had. You're going to accomplish dreams bigger than you thought. Now, one thing that can easily stunt your growth is the people we're spending time with. You need to evaluate your friendships. People you're having lunch with at the office, the neighbor you're hanging out with, those guys at the gym. Are they making you better, pushing you up higher, inspiring you to reach out for your dreams? Or are they causing you to compromise, be mediocre, take the easy way out? You're going to become like the people with whom you associate. Scripture says don't hang around with angry people, or guess what? You'll become angry. On the other hand, if you walk with wise people, you'll become wise. If you want to know what you're going to be like in 5 years, just look at your friends. If they gossip, complain about the boss, they're unfaithful in their relationships, hard to get along with, I suggest you do yourself a favor and get some new friends. Consciousness is transferable. It's contagious, just like COVID. If your friends gossip, that spirit of gossip's going to get off on you. If your friends are critical, that critical spirit will end up in you. If your friends run around on their spouses, that unfaithful spirit will start to tempt you. You may not realize it, but they're blocking your growth. They're limiting your potential. It may not be their fault, but you have to make some changes. Well, children, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they get upset? What if I don't have any friends anymore? Hey, what if you miss your destiny? What if you keep as a 5-foot-high cactus when you're supposed to be a 30-foot-high cactus? Just think, how high could you go if you weren't shaded by compromise, by mediocrity? Now, I know you love your friends, but can I tell you your destiny is too great, your assignment too important to hang around people that are not adding value to your life. You need people who bring out the best in you, people who inspire you to do better, challenge you to live a life of excellence and integrity. I'd rather be made uncomfortable by having friends that challenge me to come up higher than to be comfortable around friends that drag me down lower. I would rather have friends who challenge me to be more kind, more respectful, more loving than friends who caused me to be more sarcastic, more derogatory, more belittling. Pay attention to what you see modeled around you, because that's getting on the inside, and it's going to start influencing how you act, how you think, how you treat people. And some friendships were great for a season, but now you've come up higher. You've grown. You've stepped up to a new level. Now that doesn't mean that that other person is not a good person, but you've outgrown that friendship. We're not saying you'll never speak to them again, but little by little, you're probably going to start spending less and less time with them. Some of the trouble and the heartache that we find ourselves in, if we look back, we knew we were supposed to make a change, but we didn't do it. We didn't want to rock the boat. We didn't want to upset people. But what you're not willing to walk away from is the point at which you stop growing. We read in the great Indian epic, the Mahabharata, how Krishna asked the great warrior Karna to speak privately with him. Karna had been born the son of Kunti as a virgin by the sun god Vishwan. And she secretly put him up for adoption. Nobody knew that he was the first son of Kunti. Later on, she got married, and she had the righteous 5 Pandava brothers. So there was a great war about to take place, and Karna was considered the greatest threat to Arjuna and his brothers. He was the greatest warrior on the dark side. So Krishna arranged to meet Arjuna outside of the city of Hastinapur. Karna got up on Krishna's chariot. Krishna started driving out of the city, and they started speaking as they rode. Now, Krishna placed his hand on Karna's shoulder, and he said, according to scripture, a child born of the mother before her marriage becomes her husband's son. You were born before your mother's marriage, Karna, and therefore you are Pandu's son, and you are the elder brother of the 5 Pandavas, although they are not aware of that right now. So now all you have to do is say the word, and you'll become a king. There will be no need for a world war to establish Duryodhana as the king, because you're the king. The Pandavas will worship you as their elder brother, and I will also, along with all of my fathers. This is God on earth telling Karna he just needs to say the word, and he will be worshipped by God himself. You will be anointed by the wives and daughters of kings with water from golden pots. At the proper time, even Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, will approach you as a wife approaches her husband. Your 5 brothers will follow behind you, even as the gods follow Indra. And I shall also follow you, accompanied by the Andakas and the Grecian dynasties. Rule over the earth, Karna. Let the bards and chanters sing your praises, delight your mother Kunti's heart, and take your rightful place at the head of her sons. Now, Krishna always gives us a warning. Don't override the warning. When he asks you to do something, it's always for your own good. And if you'll get rid of the wrong people in your life, then Krishna will send you the right people. People that will make you better. People that will inspire you and push you into your destiny. Krishna is saying to each of you tonight, you are a mighty hero. You are a mighty heroine. You're destined to leave your mark, but you have to make the choice like Karna. Are you going to stay in the shade, thinking you got the short end of the stick, thinking your mother abandoned you at birth? Or are you going to step into your greatness? Are you going to believe that you're a mighty hero, equipped, empowered, and anointed? Karna, as it's described, shook his head. Krishna, undoubtedly, your words are meant for my good. I know now the secret is out. I am Pandu's son. Kunti, my mother, told me everything a couple days ago. The problem is, for 13 years, I have enjoyed a kingdom which was given to me by Duryodhana. I owe him a lot. And depending on my prowess, Duryodhana has picked a fight with the Pandavas. And I have been chosen to face Arjuna in combat. If I back down now, I will become infamous, O Krishna. I cannot allow myself to be labeled as a coward, nor can I prove myself disloyal to the evil-minded Duryodhana. In fact, if I were given the world to rule, immediately I'd hand it over to Duryodhana. Now, how can I live with the Pandavas, even if they are my brothers, after all that Duryodhana has done for me? Karna says, Krishna, I do not hold out much hope for our victory, but I will not change sides now. I know your friend Arjuna and his brothers are virtuous and pure-minded. They deserve to rule the earth. Still, I will fight Arjuna, Krishna. That is my duty as the friend of Duryodhana, and it is likely that I will die. I don't envision the Kauravas and Duryodhana winning. This dispute will end when Arjuna kills me and Bhima kills Duryodhana. This battle will be so great that it will be remembered as long as the mountains stand. It cannot be stopped. Krishna laughed. Do you not then desire to rule the earth, O Karna? Will you not peacefully accept the kingdom in the way that I have indicated? Without doubt, the Pandava's victory will soon follow. When you see those 5 brothers come out for battle, know that many men, including yourself and Duryodhana, will be destroyed. Karna looked at Krishna, who sat there with his long black hair flowing in the wind. Karna said, Krishna, you know everything. The destruction of the world is indeed at hand, and Duryodhana, Sakuni, Dusasan, and myself are its root cause. Last night, I even saw the Pandavas in a dream, coming out of the fight successful. I saw Yudhishthira clad in white silk swallowing the earth. He and his brothers ascended to live in a palace of 1,000 pillars. You were also there, O Krishna, by Arjuna's side. On the other hand, the Kauravas, wearing blood-colored robes, were going south to the abode of death, Yamaraj. Krishna looked sadly towards Karna. This will surely come to pass, O Karna, since you do not seem prepared to accept my advice. When destruction is at hand, my dear friend, wrong appears as right, and right appears as wrong. What more can I say? So too often I wonder, like Karna, do we fail to realize who we are? Letting doubt, negative voices, bad association convince us that we're limited. I can't do the right thing, true. I come from the wrong family. I didn't have the right breaks growing up. My mother abandoned me after birth. Who told you that stuff? Where do those thoughts come from? That's the enemy, Maya, trying to keep you under the shade. She'd love for you to believe those lies your whole life. Live with a defeated mindset, afraid to step out. But this could be a destiny moment for you. Krishna is saying tonight, mighty hero, mighty heroine, come out from under the shade. It's time to step up to who you were created to be. And when you make that choice, you say, I'm done letting fear, I'm done letting a can't do it mentality direct my life. I'm done making excuses as to why I can't go after my dreams. I'm going to start believing, like with Krishna, I'm a mighty hero. And when you do that, Krishna's going to show up in your life in a new way. You're going to see favor, courage, boldness like you've never experienced. What happened? You got rid of what's blocking your growth. There's a 30-foot cactus shut up inside that 5-foot cactus. All it needs to do is get out into the sun. Now, unlike Karna, who lived his whole life in the shade of the dark-minded Duryodhana, Arjuna lived in the sun of Krishna consciousness. And even though Karna and Duryodhana stole the kingdom of the Pandavas and sent them into exile for 13 years, in the end, Krishna caused the deaths of their enemies and restored back to Arjuna and his brothers twice what had been stolen from them. Krishna knows how to make up for lost growth. That time he spent hiding, afraid, off course, those years in exile, so to speak. Don't worry, your time is coming. Chant the name of the Lord, honor him, and Krishna's going to make it up to you. He knows how to accelerate things. He knows how to speed things up. Krishna doesn't hold it against us that we've stayed under the shade. We all make choices in life that should have stopped our destiny, should have stunted our growth, but Krishna will always give you another chance, like he did with Caru. It's never too late. You're never too advantage. You don't come from the wrong family. You can always become the mighty hero. You can still accomplish your dream. You can still live an abundant life. Why? Because the Lord of millions of universes is inside of you. One devotee said, there's fire shut up in my bones. Potential, talent, increase that we haven't even tapped into. So come out of hiding. Get out of family condition. Come out of self-pity. Start believing that you're sons and daughters of the Almighty God. Get rid of limiting thoughts. You and Krishna are a majority. He's calling you out of the shade, out of anything that's blocking your growth. Now step out and get ready to see new levels, new friendships, new opportunities, new talents, and new victories. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna is showing us it's not where you start, it's how you finish. Where you are now is not your destiny. There's still time to go from being a Karna to an Arjuna. You can come out of the fear, out of the doubt, out of the guilt, and step up to be what you were created to be, a mighty hero, a history maker. Now stop believing those lies that you've reached your limit, the lies that you'll always struggle. You've been through too much. It'll never work out. Come out from under that shade that's limited you long enough. Krishna's ready to show out in your life and do things that are unusual, uncommon, supernatural, out of the ordinary, take you to where nobody in your family has ever gone before. The reason we're in the shade might be that that's all we saw modeled growing up. We were raised by people that were negative, insecure, living guilty, dysfunction. That's become normal to us. But that's not who you are. That's the result of being in the shade. Don't let those negative thoughts get passed down. All it takes is for one person to rise up to say, I'm going to step out of this fear, out of this addiction, out of this defeated mentality, out of these unhealthy relationships, and I'm going to set a new standard. I'm going to be a person who honors Krishna. I'm going to live free, confident, happy, successful, and victorious. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anybody heard of this? The monkey ladder banana water experiment. The researchers put 4 monkeys in a room with a tall ladder in the center. At the top of the ladder was a bunch of bananas. The first monkey climbed up the pole fast as he could to get the bananas, but just as he was about to grab them, a large bucket of cold water was dumped on him. He scurried down the pole as fast as he could, didn't want to have anything to do with those bananas. A few minutes later, the second monkey ran up the ladder. Same thing happened. A bucket of cold water was poured. He turned around and ran back down. Eventually, the other 2 monkeys tried. Once again, they were doused with water. They came running back down. Day after day, even though those monkeys loved bananas, eventually none of them would go up the ladder. Now, this is interesting. Now, at one point, the researchers removed one monkey and replaced it with a new one. So when the new monkey started going up the pole, the other 2 monkeys grabbed hold of it and pulled him down and wouldn't let him go up. It's happened time and time again. Finally, the new monkey gave up and he wouldn't go up the pole anymore anyway. So the researchers now replaced the second monkey with a new monkey. Same thing, but they pulled him down. And they brought in 2 monkeys now. If you're following this story, you'll note that now none of the original monkeys were in the room. There isn't a single monkey in the room that ever got doused with a bucket of cold water. Eventually, the room was filled with dozens of monkeys, and none of them had ever felt the cold water, but not one would climb the ladder. They didn't know why. They just knew they weren't supposed to have those bananas. Sometimes we're like those monkeys. We don't know why we can't accomplish a dream, why we can't be successful, why we can't get out of debt, break the addiction. All we know is that nobody in our family ever did it. They lived in the shade. they let fear, insecurity, limited thinking block their growth. And now we're in the same shape. Anytime we try to move forward, people are telling us what we can't do, how it's not going to work out. It's easy to accept that and lapse into mediocrity. Well, this is just who I am. Oh, quit letting people talk you out of your dreams. It may not happen for them, but you're a mighty hero. It's going to happen for you. Now go get your bananas. This is a new day. God's favor is on your life in a new way. It's called you to set a new standard, to take your family to a new level. Just imagine how high you can go if you get rid of what's blocking your growth. Limited mindsets, other monkeys, people pulling you down, friendships that are holding you back. And Krishna has a big destiny for you. There are things in your future greater than you could ever imagine. And there'll always be dream stealers, naysayers, critics, people who try to pull you into their shame. Well, they're insecure. They'll try to talk you into being insecure just like them, so they'll have some company. You really think you can do that? You really think you can start that business, establish that temple? You really think you can overcome that addiction? You really think you can beat that sickness? Well, I don't see how you can do that. They're going to try and pull you into fear, intimidation, doubt. Don't take the bait. Stay in the sun. Krishna is going to cause you to bloom, to go places no one ever thought you could go. It's going to be a surprise to your family. People are going to be amazed at where Krishna takes you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anytime you try to go forward, there will be opposition, naysayers, people who try to pull you into their shade. Just don't take the bait. The fact that they're trying to discourage you is a sure sign that you're about to step into a new level of your destiny. So it's something blocking your growth, unhealthy relationships, negative words that were spoken over you, limited thinking. How high could you go if you just made some adjustments? Don't stay a 5-foot cactus when Krishna created you to go 30 feet tall. Make a decision that you're going to come out from under any shade. No more living guilty, dwelling on the past. No more weak, defeated, thinking, I can't do it thoughts. No more hanging around people who are pulling you down. If you remove what's limiting your growth, you're going to bloom, you're going to blossom, see favor, courage. You're going to have the boldness to accomplish what Krishna put in your heart. I believe, like with Arjuna, a mighty hero is going to emerge. The power of the Most High is going to come out in a new way. You're going to rise higher, overcome obstacles, and become all that you were created to be in this life and in the next life. Go back to home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So thanks for your kind attention. We're going to do some more chanting, led by John Krishna. And Nathan, you're welcome to pump it up with the bass there too. Please stand, and you're welcome to come forward and join us closer to the altar. After which we're going to have 2 announcements and then go downstairs for dinner.
Krishna Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara Adi, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara Adi, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara, Radha, Shama Sundara Adi,
Shri Srimati Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.